What if the greatest obstacle standing between you and the life you dream about isn't failure, isn't bad luck, and isn't a lack of talent? What if it's something far more dangerous? Something you've been doing every single day without even realizing it. Imagine waking up every morning with a mind that feels completely clear. No pressure to impress anyone. No constant need to explain yourself. No endless battle against distractions, pulling you away from the life you're trying to build. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you truly felt like that? For most people, the answer is painful. Before the sun even rises, their mind already belongs to someone else. The first thing they reach for isn't their own purpose. It's their phone. A flood of notifications, messages that can wait, headlines designed to provoke fear, opinions from strangers they'll never meet, endless comparisons with people living carefully edited lives. Without noticing it, they've surrendered the most valuable part of their day before they've even taken their first breath with intention. And the tragedy is, they call this normal. Every day they promise themselves they'll focus. They'll finally start that project. They'll become more disciplined. They'll stop wasting time. Yet every evening ends the same way. Exhausted, busy, overwhelmed, but somehow no closer to the person they want to become. If this feels familiar, don't feel ashamed that you're not alone. Millions of people spend their entire lives trapped inside this invisible cycle, believing they simply need more motivation. But motivation has never been the real answer. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern society desperately tries to ignore. Your greatest enemy is rarely outside of you, that it's the constant habit of giving your attention away. Piece by piece, moment by moment, until one day you wake up and realize you've spent years reacting to life instead of creating it. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the greatest empires in history, yet even he reminded himself of a simple truth nearly every single day. Your peace doesn't disappear because life becomes difficult. That it disappears the moment you allow the outside world to control your inner world. Think about that. Every unnecessary argument steals your energy. Every criticism you replay inside your head steals your confidence. Every comparison steals your gratitude. Every distraction steals your future. The world isn't just competing for your time anymore, that it's competing for your attention. And attention is your life. Because whatever receives your attention eventually shapes your character. Most people never notice this happening. They believe they're making small decisions. Just one more scroll, one more notification, one more pointless conversation point, one more explanation to people who never intended to understand them. But these aren't small decisions, they're tiny leaks. And just like a ship doesn't sink because of one giant hole, it sinks because of hundreds of tiny ones left ignored. Maybe that's exactly how you've been feeling. Not broken, just drained, not lazy, just mentally exhausted. You keep wondering why your confidence disappears so quickly, why your goals never seem to stay alive, why your discipline comes and goes like the wind. The answer may be simpler than you think. You've been spending more energy proving your life than actually living it. You tell people about your dreams before you've built them. You defend yourself against people whose opinions will never change. You explain every decision, hoping someone will finally approve. But approval is a dangerous addiction. The more you chase it, the less you trust yourself, and eventually, you stop asking, what do I truly want? Instead, you start asking, what will everyone else think? That's the moment your freedom quietly disappears. The Stoics refused to live that way. They weren't trying to escape the world, they simply refused to become its prisoner. They understood that real strength isn't found in speaking louder than everyone else. It's found in becoming so deeply rooted within yourself that the noise outside loses its power. Imagine carrying that kind of peace. Imagine walking into a room without needing anyone's validation. Imagine working toward your biggest goals without announcing every step. Imagine becoming so focused that distractions begin to lose their grip on you. That isn't confidence you're born with, that it's a habit, that a quiet habit. Point one, that almost nobody practices anymore. And that's exactly why it has become so powerful. Over the next few minutes, you're going to discover a way of thinking that has transformed warriors, philosophers, leaders, and ordinary people for thousands of years. The IT won't ask you to become someone new. The IT will simply help you remember the person you were before the world convinced you that your worth depended on everyone else's opinion. Because the moment you stop giving your attention to everything, you finally have enough attention left to build yourself. And once that happens, your entire life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. The hardest battle you'll ever fight will never happen in front of an audience. No one will applaud you for it, and no one will post about it. Most people won't even know it exists, because the real battle begins in complete silence. That it begins the moment you decide that your attention is too valuable to be wasted on things that cannot improve your life. That sounds simple, until you try it. The first morning you promise yourself you'll stay focused, your phone lights up with another notification. Someone wants your opinion. Someone needs your time. Someone else's problem suddenly feels like it should become yours, and before you realize what's happening, your mind has wandered miles away from the path you promised yourself you would follow. This is how distraction works. That it doesn't arrive looking dangerous. That it arrives disguised as something urgent, something harmless, something that can wait just 5 more minutes. But those 5 minutes become 30. 30 becomes an hour. An hour becomes another day where your dreams remain exactly where they were yesterday. The Stoics understood that life is rarely destroyed by one catastrophic decision, that it's slowly eroded by thousands of small compromises. Every unnecessary reaction weakens your focus. Every emotional argument steals your peace. Every attempt to impress people who were never meant to understand you pulls you further away from the person you're capable of becoming. Ask yourself something honestly. How much of your day belongs to you? Not your employer, not social media, not your family, not strangers online. If that question makes you uncomfortable, you're not alone. Most people have never truly owned their attention. They've rented it out to the world for so long that silence feels unfamiliar. That's why the moment they sit alone, they instinctively reach for entertainment messages. Anything to avoid hearing the one voice that matters most, their own. Yet everything changes the moment you become comfortable with your own mind. Because clarity never shouts, that it whispers. And you can only hear whispers when the noise finally stops. Epictetus spent years living as a slave before becoming one of history's greatest teachers. He understood something extraordinary. No one could imprison his mind unless he handed them the key himself. Think about the power hidden inside that idea. People may judge you, ignore you, misunderstand you, even betray you. But none of those things can decide who you become. Only your response can. And your response is born in the quiet space between emotion and action. Most people never pause. They react immediately. Someone insults them, they answer. Someone criticizes them, they defend themselves. Someone succeeds, they compare. Someone disagrees, they argue. By the end of the day, they're emotionally exhausted, not because life demanded it, but because they gave every situation permission to control them. The Stoics chose another path. They paused. Not because they were weak, but because they understood that every unnecessary reaction is a surrender of inner freedom. Silence isn't emptiness. Silence is discipline. That it's choosing not to waste your energy proving something that time will eventually prove for you. Imagine planting the seed of a mighty oak tree. Would you dig it up every morning just to check if it's growing? Of course not. You trust the process, you water it, you protect it, and then you allow time to do its work. Your goals deserve the same patience. Yet so many people announce every new beginning before they've even taken the first real step. They speak about becoming healthier before they've completed a single week of discipline. They tell everyone about their business before they've served their first customer. They describe the life they're going to build instead of quietly building it. For a brief moment, those conversations feel rewarding. People congratulate them, encourage them, admire the idea. But when the excitement fades, so does the motivation. The work suddenly feels heavier because the reward arrived too early. The Stoics would have smiled at this. They believed action should always speak louder than intention, because results create a kind of confidence that applause never can. There is something incredibly peaceful about becoming a person whose progress doesn't need an audience. Someone who wakes up early without posting about it. Someone who studies without seeking recognition. Someone who improves every day without announcing every small victory. That kind of discipline changes you from the inside. Slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. Until one day people begin asking what changed. They see more confidence in your eyes, more calm in your voice, more purpose in your actions. What they don't see are the hundreds of silent choices you made when nobody was watching. The mornings you chose focus instead of distraction. The evenings you chose growth instead of comfort. The moments you stayed silent instead of defending your ego. Those invisible decisions become the foundation of an extraordinary life. Because greatness is almost never built in public, it's built in the quiet moments where no applause exists. Only character, only discipline, only you, becoming the person you once believed was impossible. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the world isn't the thing exhausting them. It's the constant habit of carrying what was never theirs to carry. Other people's expectations, other people's opinions, other people's approval. For years, you may have believed that if you worked harder, explained yourself better, or proved your worth often enough, people would finally understand you. But they won't. Not because you're not enough, but because understanding has never been something you can control. And the day you truly accept that, a strange kind of freedom begins to appear. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say your happiness depends on your income, your reputation, your followers, or the applause of the crowd. He pointed inward, because that's where every meaningful transformation begins. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack every single day at 81st. It doesn't seem like much. Just one unnecessary worry, point one regret, point one argument. You keep replaying in your mind, point one person's opinion that somehow feels impossible to forget. Then another, and another. Year after year, the weight grows so gradually that you stop noticing it. Until one day you wonder why even simple things feel difficult. Why you're tired before your day has even begun. The truth is, you were never carrying life. You were carrying emotional baggage that never belonged to you. The Stoics practiced something that modern psychology continues to confirm. You don't have to believe every thought that enters your mind. Just because your mind says you're failing doesn't make it true. Just because someone doubts you doesn't mean you should doubt yourself. Thoughts are visitors. They knock on the door of your mind every day. Some deserve to enter, most do not. The strongest people aren't the ones who never experience fear. They're the ones who decide which thoughts deserve their attention. That single decision changes everything. Instead of asking, "What if I failed?" you begin asking, "What if I never try because I was afraid?" Instead of thinking, "What will people think?" you quietly replace it with, "What kind of person do I want to become?" Notice how different those questions feel. One gives your power away, the other brings it home. This is where your life begins to change. Not through one dramatic breakthrough, but through hundreds of quiet choices that nobody else will ever see. You stop checking your phone every few minutes because your future matters more than another notification. You stop explaining every decision because your peace matters more than winning an argument. You stop chasing attention because you've discovered something infinitely more valuable, self-respect. And self-respect is earned, not by talking, not by pretending, but by keeping the promises you make to yourself. Every morning you choose discipline over comfort. You become stronger. Every evening you choose growth over excuses. You become wiser. Every time you remain calm when chaos invites you to react, you become harder to shake. Little by little, your identity changes. You no longer see yourself as someone trying to become disciplined. You become a disciplined person. You no longer hope for confidence. Confidence becomes the natural result of the life you quietly build. People begin to notice the difference, not because you're louder, but because you're calmer. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you no longer need to. Your presence starts speaking before your words ever do. There's a quiet strength in people who know exactly who they are. They don't rush. They don't compete with everyone around them. They don't panic every time life becomes uncertain. Like the deepest part of the ocean, they remain calm even while storms rage on the surface. This is the kind of strength the Stoics spent their lives cultivating. Not strength that dominates others, but strength that refuses to be dominated by circumstances. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is that no one can take it away from you. Money can disappear. Status can fade. Relationships can change. The world itself can become unpredictable overnight. But the discipline you've built, the peace you've earned, the character you've shaped through thousands of quiet decisions, those become part of who you are. No market crash can steal them. No criticism can erase them. No setback can destroy them. Because they were never built on the outside. They were built within. And once a person discovers that kind of inner foundation, something remarkable happens. They stop fearing the future, not because they know what tomorrow will bring, but because they finally trust the person they'll be when tomorrow arrives. That is the real transformation. Not becoming someone perfect, becoming someone who no longer needs perfection to keep moving forward. Someone who understands that every sunrise offers another opportunity to choose clarity over confusion, purpose over distraction, courage over comfort, and action over endless explanation. The world may continue chasing noise, but you won't, because you've discovered something most people spend their entire lives searching for: the unshakable peace that comes from mastering yourself before trying to master anything else. Now imagine yourself 1 year from today. Two versions of you are standing side by side. The first continued living exactly as before. They kept reacting to every notification. They argued with people who were never interested in understanding them. They chased approval instead of purpose. They spent more time talking about the life they wanted than quietly building it first. Nothing seemed different. The days looked the same. The routine felt familiar. But slowly, almost invisibly, life moved on without them. Their dreams became postponed plans. Their goals turned into forgotten ideas. Their confidence faded, not because they lacked ability, but because they kept giving away the very thing that creates confidence: their attention. Now look at the second version. This person didn't become extraordinary overnight. They didn't wake up one morning completely fearless. They simply made one quiet decision. Every single day to protect their peace, to guard their attention, to stop explaining themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them, to stop seeking permission to become who they were meant to be. Some mornings were difficult. There were days they wanted to quit, moments when distractions felt impossible to resist, times when silence felt lonely, but they kept choosing discipline. Again, because they finally understood something that most people never do. Your future is not created by the biggest decision you make, that it's created by the smallest decision you repeat every single day. Eventually, something remarkable happened. Their mornings became calmer, their thoughts became clearer, their emotions became steadier. The same problem still existed, but they no longer controlled their mind. The same criticism still appeared, but it no longer defined their worth. The same distractions still surrounded them, but they no longer followed every invitation. For the first time in years, they felt something they had almost forgotten: freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever they wanted, but the freedom to choose who they wanted to become. And that is the greatest victory a human being can achieve. The Stoics never promised an easy life. They never said pain would disappear. They never claimed the world would suddenly become fair. Instead, they offered something far greater: the ability to remain calm while the world becomes chaotic. The courage to keep moving while others become distracted. The wisdom to understand that your greatest investment will never be your money. It will always be your character, because everything else can be taken from you. Your possessions, your reputation, even the people you love may one day leave your life. But the person you become through discipline, the strength you build through silence, the wisdom you earn through self-reflection, no one can steal those. They become your permanent foundation. Years from now, people may admire your success. They may notice your confidence. They may wonder how you became so calm in situations that overwhelm everyone else. What they won't see are the invisible battles you fought alone. The mornings you chose purpose over comfort. The evenings you chose growth over excuses. The countless moments when you stayed silent instead of feeding your ego. Those quiet victories will become the story of your life. Never underestimate the power of a single habit. A river doesn't carve through solid rock because it is stronger. It carves through rock because it never stops flowing. Your transformation works the same way, not through perfection, through consistency. One focused morning, one disciplined choice, one silent victory at a time. And one day you'll wake up and realize you didn't just change your habits. You changed your identity. You became the person you used to admire, not because life became easier, but because you became stronger than the excuses that once controlled you. So, before you leave this video, make yourself one promise. Not to me. To yourself. Promise that tomorrow morning, before the world asks for your attention, you'll give a few quiet moments to your own mind. Promise that you'll stop announcing every dream before you've earned it. Promise that you'll let your actions become louder than your words. And whenever life tries to pull you into chaos, remember this simple truth: the strongest person in the room is rarely the loudest. It's the one who has mastered themselves. Because when you learn to protect your attention, when you stop searching for approval, when you focus on your own path with quiet discipline, you discover a kind of peace that no outside circumstance can ever take away. That is the power the Stoics wanted you to find. It has always been inside you. It is waiting for you. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, the only question left is, will you choose it? If today's message spoke to something deep inside you, write these 4 words in the comments. Let those words become your promise, not just for today, but for the life you're about to build. If you're ready to continue this journey of discipline, clarity, and inner strength, subscribe and join this community. Every video is designed to help you think more clearly, live more intentionally, and become stronger from within. Until next time, protect your peace, guard your attention, stay humble, stay disciplined, and remember, the world changes when you change yourself.